Jack had been faced with several obstacles in his own life. Before his precious little girl had vanished, Jack's relationship with Michaela's mom had been on the rocks. In the end, they chose to separate and later divorce. The vicious fights in court that followed had left behind trauma that would never fully heal. The divorce settlement left Jack with full custody of their daughter while his ex got their house and most of what had been their life together. After the divorce, Michaela's parents were caught in a vicious custody dispute. Jack refused to stand down, unable to imagine his life without Michaela, and an unlikely win for fathers. Jack was given full custody, but it meant that he would lose the house they had lived in together, as well as much of their life as a family. He still should have been prepared for the worst times yet to come. He poured all his efforts into his job, devoted to giving Michaela the happiest life he could. He worked extra long days and tackled every obstacle he experienced head-on. He was ensuring a loving and secure life for him and Michaela. As time went by, Jack was facing the solitude of being a single parent. Because he'd been concentrating on his job and raising his daughter, his romantic life had faded away. Then, unexpectedly, one evening, it all came to a head. Just when Jack had started to think he would be alone forever, light returned to his life in the form of Elisa. With her compassion, empathy, and tenderness, she helped to soothe the wounds left on his heart by his ex-wife. Elisa represented a new beginning and lit a hope of fulfillment in Jack. After 2 years together, he proposed and soon after they were married. But she was much more than just his wife. For a long time, Elisa had been Jack's rock and a source of empathy and support. She'd seen the scars from the past and did everything she could to help him heal. Eventually, her love and sanctuary extended to Michaela as well, protecting both father and daughter from life's hardships. Jack could never have expected what she would do to them. As Jack was reveling in this unfamiliar happiness, it was interrupted by something terrible. Michaela had vanished. The 13-year-old had gone out with some friends on a Saturday and never came home. Her friends alleged that Michaela had gone home in an Uber, but Jack and Elisa hadn't seen any trace of her. They immediately filed a report, and as the investigation began, the anxious couple hoped for the best. They didn't know that the worst was yet to come. Michaela's mysterious disappearance caused the happiness of Jack and Elisa's marriage to fall apart. The two of them began an endless search, forever hopeful that they might find their precious daughter. But a few hours became a few days, then weeks, then a whole month. Soon it had been a whole year without a trace of Michaela. When the first year ended, there were still no promising leads on where Michaela could have disappeared to. Michaela's friends and family slowly started giving up on tracking her down, as did the investigators. Jack was the only one who still held onto a thread of hope, but it was soon overshadowed by the pain of a grieving father. It should have been obvious to him that he wasn't looking in the right place. Camilla took this chance to open legal battle after legal battle, draining Jack emotionally and financially. His world once again teetered on the very brink of collapse. But through the tumultuous legal battles and the weight of uncertainty, Elisa stood by Jack's side. Her love never wavered, and she became his pillar of strength. She did everything in her power to alleviate his pain, but deep down there was something she was hiding. Another year passed, marking the 5th anniversary of Michaela's disappearance. By now, Jack had become a fragmented soul, haunted by the ghost of his daughter's disappearance. As Jack landscaped his yard one fateful morning, the metallic clink echoed through the silence. His gardening tools had struck against something metallic buried deep within the soil. He unearthed a buried chain, its links glistening with the morning dew. Jack, curiosity piqued, dusted off the mud, unaware that this chain held the key to unraveling a dark secret. The chain, once pulled, resisted, but Jack's interest was already piqued. With both hands, he grabbed tightly and heaved, but the earth didn't let up. Jack's mind continued to race with questions, fueling an insatiable desire to unearth the secrets entangled beneath the relentless grip of the stubborn earth. If only he knew what he was about to uncover. Realizing he needed more than his simple gardening tools, Jack decided to call his neighbor, Russo, who had a collection of digging equipment. Together, they formed a determined duo, armed with shovels and a shared determination to unravel whatever lay beneath the surface of Jack's once tranquil garden. The two continued digging, and finally the metallic edges of a chest revealed themselves. Jack and Russo, breathless with excitement, heaved it out of the ground. Its size sent a chill down their spines, hinting at a dark mystery. Although none of them mentioned it, they could tell the chest was big enough to fit someone young. The moment the chest emerged changed everything for Jack. Erosion had weakened the lock, and with a forceful twist, it gave way. The lid creaked open, revealing not treasures but piles of papers, notes, clothes, shoes, and jackets. A sense of foreboding filled the air. As the two neighbors sifted through the contents, they discovered old diaries detailing a harrowing story of guilt and involvement in a terrible crime. Though vague at first, the entries narrated a dark account that shouldn't have been brought to light. Each page turned revealed a layer of despair. Jack couldn't believe that such a sinister chest had existed right under his nose for all this time. If only he knew who the accounts talked about. The more Jack read, the more familiar the guilt felt. The circumstances explained in the pages he was holding hit close to home. To make things worse, he could recognize the handwriting, and just like that, things changed. Suspicions about his wife's involvement in Michaela's disappearance started to take shape. Wasn't the woman there when Michaela disappeared? Jack remembered feeling like Elisa was hiding something. In her attempts to soothe his pain, it had felt like she was trying too hard, as if she was covering up something. Before involving anyone else or pointing any fingers, Jack decided to ask Elisa about the diaries. He showed her the pages and the clothes, watching her face change from denial to shock. Elisa ran into the backyard, where chaos awaited her. The neatly landscaped area now resembled a crime scene. The earth, disturbed by Jack and Russo's digging, was a clear sign that her secret was up. The once pristine backyard could no longer contain the evil she did 5 years ago. With nowhere to run, Elisa broke down and confessed. She started with the biggest question: why had she done all this when Jack had done nothing but love and respect her? The answer lay with his ex-wife, Camilla, who had orchestrated everything. But that was only half of it. She wanted to make you suffer, as sad Elisa said. She came to me with threats, blackmail, and whatnot. She threatened my family, my little brothers and dad, threatened to come for you as well. Jack found himself seated on the carpet, his head in his hands. How could this be? She's alive, Elisa added meekly. Michaela, she's alive and well. Jack looked up at her. After everything she'd known and allowed him to endure, why would she torment him with this? Enough, he stammered, his eyes tinged with tears. Elisa revealed that she and Michaela had secretly been in contact for the last 5 years. Camilla had whisked the girl out of the state to her in-laws in Alaska, and Elisa had fought tooth and tail to find her. Yet she never stopped talking to her, updating her about her dad's well-being. But she couldn't tell Jack, as she knew what he was capable of. He'd go straight to Alaska, and the consequences would rain down. "I'm okay with facing the consequences of my actions," Elisa said. "I've wronged you, and I'll accept whatever comes." The next few months saw her attend court sessions. But she wasn't the one on trial, so she stood as a witness against Camilla, who had vehemently denied the accusations Jack flung at her. The courtroom became a battleground where truth and lies clashed. It was the least she could do after everything she'd been involved in. Yet after a prolonged legal struggle, the court found Camilla guilty of her malicious deeds. The sentence was a bittersweet victory for Jack and Elisa, who had battled not just for Michaela's return but for the truth. The verdict marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, a chapter where justice, though served, couldn't fully erase the scars etched on their hearts.